Welcome to the F1 2025 Hungarian Grand Prix reaction. A little bit late, 2 weeks to be exact, but we are here with our hats a little bit clean. No recency bias, hopefully, and yeah, it's not just me, it's our co-host, the amazing Captain AJX.
Hello. Nice to be here. Thank you very much for having me on, as always.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same without you, honestly.
No.
Yeah, quite a weekend we had in Hungary. Obviously, qualifying was probably one of the best of the season, and we had we had some talking points for the race as well, I'm sure. So
yeah. I think it was quite an exciting race in the end. I enjoyed it. I know, that it's Hungary. There isn't much overtaking, but I feel like it's been consistently good over the last few years. So I feel it gets a bad rap.
Yeah. I mean, we had some good races here in the past as well, like 2021, obviously with the rain, 22, Max from P10 to P1, so on. But yeah,
the drama and
last year's drama as well. Yeah, but the track is generally not great for overtaking. But we saw Spa, which was like all the straights. Like these cars cannot overtake under the current regulations anyway. It doesn't matter which track we race on at this point. Yeah. So let's move on over to the biggest surprise. You have Sainz beating Albon in the race.
Yes,
that
Get
happened,
in there.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a point for you.
He had his number this weekend.
Yeah, he out-qualified him by a while.
Albon had a bad Q1. Lost. Didn't get. Well, came 20th even.
Yeah.
And then, Sainz, I think, came 15th, so not much better. At least got to Q2, and then just in the race. Albon was instructed to let Sainz through, but then Sainz managed to overtake someone because of it. So, good race for Sainz, pretty terrible race for Williams.
Yeah, I guess I could say that. But, I mean, good race. It's beating your teammate at foremost, and that's what he did after a long time.
He's only done that once this season before.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's because Albon didn't finish. So,
yeah, I was thinking of Canada, but you're probably thinking of Austria as well.
Yeah, maybe twice then.
Yeah, I think Albon has had quite a few DNFs already. Well, at least two.
Yeah. He's struggled. So that's the Williams for you. Offer a very good weekend for Albon. Back down to earth.
It seems like they're only able to have one car competitively.
Yes, I agree
at the same point at the weekend, so we just didn't have the sprint to give Albon the better car this time around. And Russell in Q3 did not happen. He was pretty close to pole position despite being P4.
It was 0.004 between Albon and the top spot.
Yeah,
which
Russell.
Is crazy.
You said Albon.
Sorry, between Russell. Sorry, yes, I'm a lack of sleep. Between Russell and the top spot. So incredible. Like you can't even time that. Like even me talking now is you can't time how quick that is. Pretty incredible. Incredible.
Extremely close. I mean, we had top six extremely close. We had both Astons 1/10 of pole position. Imagine if they would just get that lap in a little bit better. Aston Martin 1-2 in quality. That would be incredible. After such a they were 19th and 20th last weekend, in Belgium. So it would be from last row to first row in the span of a week. Obviously it didn't happen, but they were very close to doing so. We had obviously a very surprise pole position from Charles Leclerc. I don't know where that came from. The Ferraris didn't look that great during the weekend. Like there was a very big gap between McLarens and the rest up until Q3, pretty much. Somehow Charles was able to, well, not only to match them like other three drivers, but to beat them on his last run. So good for him. First pole of the season. Looking good for the race. Well, it did until Ferrari happened, but we'll talk about that later on. Overperformer.
Yes.
Overperformer. Who you got?
Oh, well, it wasn't Hamilton.
That's for sure.
Oh, Alonso, I would say.
Good pick.
I think his strategy of backing up the field pretty incredible. He literally did what everyone did in Monaco, and then managed to get his medium tires to last through to like lap 45 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Alonso's a shout. I think I'm trying to remember who was behind. Bortoletto, another good shout as well. That sort of area of the field was very good. But yeah, I'm probably just about give it Alonso over Bortoletto. But Bortoletto definitely deserves the shouts as well.
Yeah.
Amazing drive.
Yep, indeed, amazing drive from a lot of drivers. I mean, you mentioned Alonso, Bortoletto. There's Lawson, P8, outqualified his teammate and finished ahead of Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
In that Racing Bulls, we also had obviously Charles put it on pole. Unfortunately, ending to the race. I don't think you can say either McLaren because both had, both haven't maximized their weekend. I would say, but
I think they didn't optimize their weekend. I think Lando's drive certainly deserves a mention, but I wouldn't put him up there. Perhaps Stroll could be mentioned as well. I know, of course,
Stroll
he is beaten by his teammate, but he still gets valuable points for the team.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to expectations, Stroll is definitely up there as well. But I personally would give it to Gabriel Bortoletto. As I mean, he destroyed Hulkenberg in qualifying once again. Is currently leading in the quali head-to-head and has like a time delta as well.
Yeah, no, you're right. Also gained a position.
So, yeah, and also get a position like you said in the race from P7 to P6. So incredible weekend from Gabriel Bortoletto, and I don't exactly have a consistent way of saying it, but
yeah, I love it. Do you think Alonso purposely was backing up the field to, ruin everyone else's tires?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Alonso is Alonso. I always expect him to have a good weekend, so it's kind of difficult for me. If he would have gotten a top front row in qualifying or something, because he was close and he was only just above Stroll, thousandths of a second above it.
They were amazing.
So,
but do you think he? Because I personally think he was trying to destroy everyone's tires with dirty air.
Yeah, I think so too. It was incredibly difficult to overtake. So, doing
he's Alonso. He's always been incredibly difficult to overtake.
Yeah. Okay, Ocon definitely not a mention as well. Even though he beat his teammates, Haas was nowhere this weekend. Just like Williams, they were very very bad. Underperformer, not Ocon as well for the same reasons. Haas was terrible. So was Ollie. Ocon, I mean, Esteban had a alright weekend considering the car he was given. And Yuki, I would say, look, he had the closest delta to Max in qualifying in his entire season, basically, pretty much. I would say that minimum doesn't give him the underperformer. He didn't have a horrible race. He was just that Hungary is very difficult to overtake, and Red Bull, it was so bad today. It was really that weekend in Hungary. Wow, their worst weekend since I don't know. They obviously scored less in Spain because of Max, but this was on pure pace their worst weekend in a long while for a team that's won four driver style sorry, I can't speak. 4 drivers' titles in a row. Good. Okay. Underperformer for a driver. I guess you could say Lewis. Like that was.
Yeah, it has to be. I think him and Max.
Yeah.
I would.
Max,
I would
not really. I mean,
look, I know the Red Bulls was bad. I know he had an amazing time with his overtakes, including the most dodgy one on Hamilton. But it's Max Verstappen. You don't want him coming ninth ever.
But when the car is not there, I'm not willing to give him the underperformer unless he gets beaten by a teammate, which is a thing that hasn't happened this season. Until then,
I think that's impossible because the car's set up.
I just still feel like
he's to drive.
I feel like he's maximizing the car every weekend, and when Yuki is 1/10 of in qualifying of him, I believe that's more on Yuki being good than Max being underperforming. So yeah, just
maybe I'd still give it him. I think
I mean, either way, we don't get a point.
Yeah. I know the car's not there. But yeah, I think Lewis is definitely because his head was gone even.
So one good shot as well, Hulkenberg. After such a good run of form, he was nowhere in qualifying, and the race didn't make much of a progress. While his teammate was high up in the points in the top 7, which is like a half truth to my extra ball prediction, not quite the full one. Yeah,
I'd like to point. He did gain a lot of places in the race.
He did, but like still wasn't even close to points. Yeah. So it doesn't look like the Hulkenberg we're supposed to see right now. Like probably Hungary is not his greatest track, but still, like Bottas was so impressive this weekend. I didn't make Hulkenberg look like a rookie instead of him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect team. Not the Red Bull by any means. And McLaren. I mean, they got another one too. One of many this season. Didn't get pole position, so I don't think they deserve that. Also, like
fair enough. I do think their strategy was good.
Yeah, like the split strategies to fight Charles.
Both of them. Both strategies worked.
Yeah, like exactly. Like both 2 stops and 1 stop worked. They split them and let them fight for the win, which was, I mean, better than what they did most of the time. They just screwed up everything, like last year in Hungary.
We'll get to it in a bit. I do want to talk about sort of the split strategy and the drama around it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect team. I would give this to Aston. Definitely.
Yeah, like, has to be.
Double points after last weekend, definitely Aston. Okay, tragic team. Not Sauber, they got points. Ferrari, I mean...
I think Ferrari's a shout.
There's an argument for Ferrari, but since there's a team that has a way worse in Red Bull, I don't think they deserve it.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, yeah.
Like,
fair enough.
This is worst Red Bull's weekend in a while, and that's... Like,
plus, it was chassis damage. It was incredibly funny watching him go back and back and back.
It was like,
and also his moves on George. Jesus Christ! He was trying to kill him.
Wait, okay, my memories are not working properly right now. Sorry, George. Wait, where was George? It was George even.
Leclerc and George.
Oh, them two. Okay, I was thinking we're still talking about Max.
No, sorry. Yeah, no. No, I meant I was saying that it was chassis damage was the reason that Leclerc, wasn't on the podium or didn't convert his win.
Whose fault was the damage? Because I would say it was the team's fault, honestly.
I don't know what happened.
He didn't get damage from any contact or anything. They just you
never know. It could be just like
was explained
drive over a curb the wrong way.
It was pretty much explained, but I don't have the explanation fully in my head. But I believe it was Ferrari's fault in this one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I read at least. Well, that was a week ago. So.
Oh, fair enough. I thought it was. unexplained, really.
Yeah, I mean, still got
But
pole position, which
I
is
believe it.
like they beat the McLaren, both McLarens in qualifying. Like that's all. Like even though they have a greatest weekend overall as a team, operationally and everything, they still got pole position first their season, excluding the sprint, obviously. Okay, definitely Red Bull, although there are some shows like Ferrari, Haas, and Williams. Yeah, okay. Moving over to qualifying, we had P5 Fernando Alonso. Who would have expected that? I didn't, certainly. 0 points there. P4 qualifying was. Hey,
George.
Is George? Yeah, it's George, right.
George. Yeah.
Very, very close, but it was George, so get a point somehow.
Pick up a point.
Yeah, P3, Lando Norris. Both had him for a pole, but he didn't deliver in qualifying. It was looking very quick.
I mean, you say he didn't deliver. It was so close.
Yeah, obviously, it was so close, but like I mean, both McLarens didn't delivering in Q3. Like it was the win or whatever, but they definitely had the pace for pole.
Yeah, they were quite quick.
They're in a title fight as well. Like they're supposed to maximize their laps every time, and they just got the yellow and green sectors in, and it doesn't look like I could see Max in that McLaren like being triple purple and 2 tenths above Leclerc this scenario, but that's just me, I guess. Okay, P2 Oscar, very close to pole, not quite, but with his teammate at least. That's actually like his qualifying was never bad. Like he was fairly close to Lando, but the quality head to it has always been on Lando's side. This season, it looks like it's more on Oscar's side, both in the time delta and in the head to head. Do you think it's gonna you think it's gonna close up or even go to Lando's side, or is it just gonna continue being on like more on Oscar's side the entire head to head in qualifying? Because like there's been a bit of a weakness of
it's not
Oscar's.
too far away, is it? I think it's closer than people think.
Yeah, it's extremely close, but Lando was always at the edge, and now it looks like
Piastri 2 ahead now.
It's like 8-6 head to head, I believe, or something close to that. And
yeah,
the gap is like 1/10 of a second.
I don't know. It's pretty much it's a case of will Norris keep his bottle or will Piastri? Because I think we are getting towards Piastri's maybe slightly worse races of the last few seasons, but now he is 3 seasons in, so he should be able to grab them by the horns. So I really don't know. I don't know where it's going, but I do think Piastri's probably got the cooler head on him. So I'd probably say Piastri.
Yeah. We're also going to the second part of the season after the summer break, the second one. I believe Lando has always been the stronger driver in the second half of the season, especially on the tracks like Coda and Zandvoort and like these. Like we've seen Lando being the stronger driver by a margin.
Yeah, exactly. Year, so but you know,
it's gonna be interesting to see.
Only had 2 seasons before, so that's what I'm very interested in, because I think that is massively the case, as you say. I think could I quickly speak on the whole which team is supporting? You know, McLaren is supporting Lando.
We can talk about it after the race results, because you got the one to correct. So we can move over to the race win. Sorry, Paul's hit the shot. Leclerc, no points there. We both get points for Piastri though, so P2 for Piastri equals 2 points for both of us. And in the race, we have P5 was P5? Alonso, right? It remained in P5.
Yeah, P5 was Alonso, yeah.
Yep. P4 Charles
Leclerc.
Yeah,
another point.
Another random point. It was leading half of the race, but it happens sometimes.
That damage was crazy. How quickly he fell back.
Yeah, it
was, like in 3 laps he lost. He was like way behind Russell. Like 20 seconds he lost to Russell in 3 laps.
Yeah, it was very very unfortunate for Charles, who's looking incredible the entire weekend. I mean, the Ferrari never seemed to have the pace until Q3, and in the race he was controlling the pace. He was able to keep up with the McLarens on race pace, which has been a struggle for Ferrari this season. And if it wasn't for the damage, he probably could have won, or maybe at least got a P2, because I don't think Piastri was going to overtake him without the damage. And then it was him versus Lando. Even though Charles was ahead of Piastri, I believe Piastri had more pace and still couldn't overtake Lando in the end. So I would say if it wasn't for the damage, it would be Lando, Charles, and Oscar podium. But we'll never know.
I agree.
It's
I agree.
One big what if. So yeah. P3 was George Russell. Does nothing. P3 strikes once again.
Yeah.
You know the meme by now, right?
had to get around the absolute demolition job that Leclerc was trying to do to him.
Oh yeah, true. Those those moves were borderline Max Verstappen, honestly.
They were crazy.
Like he was really fighting for it, because I mean, from pole position, from controlled race lead, pulling down to P4, like it was very unfortunate. Yeah. And that radio of Charles to Ferrari, it's one of those like Ferrari, like they got a pole, they looking good, and somehow they're still Ferrari, and they still somehow manage to screw up at everything, and don't even get a podium, which has been the case for Leclerc for most of the recent races. He's been on the podium. From pole, he could manage. His pole to win ratio decreases even more, which has already been bad. Unfortunate, but moving over to the McLarens with Piastri P2 and Norris P1, so we get four points in total. Thanks to that. Good job on predicting to the order of the 1-2, which was uncertain still.
Thank you, McLaren.
Yeah, I guess you really wanted to talk about this, so I'm gonna let you go first.
Firstly, we also should say some absolutely crazy moves by Piastri as well, almost crashing twice. I wanted to say, I think there's been a lot of discontent about the fact that McLaren chose to put Norris on this one-stop strategy, and the fact that led to him winning. Firstly, Norris did an amazing job to make that one-stop strategy work, and to make his tyres last all the time, and to sort of jump like 3 drivers in the end is what he jumped after his bad start. Secondly, I think people need to understand that McLaren are not working as a singular unit anymore. McLaren are working as Norris's side of the pit and Piastri's side of the pit. And Piastri's side of the pit looked at the data and went, as many teams did, almost all the teams up and down the grid, were like, okay, the 2-stop is what is quickest, forgetting that it is impossible to overtake around Hungary. Whereas Norris's side of the pit were desperate to basically jump these cars through pit stops, because he couldn't do it. You saw how much he struggled against Russell in an inferior car. He couldn't have jumped 3 drivers doing that, including his own teammate. And at the end we saw it. Piastri couldn't overtake Norris, even though Norris's tyres were way older, and Piastri obviously had DRS and so on. He still couldn't jump him, because that's just how Hungary is sort of laid out. That last corner as well has so much dirty air that you get such an effect going into that final straight. So it was a great strategy call. Norris did incredibly well to pull it off. Piastri to do both sides also did incredibly well to pull off his strategy to be able to get past Leclerc. Of course, Leclerc had damage, but I still don't want to knock him on the head there. But yeah, I think both of them deserve a shout out. Both and this is what's going to happen. It's McLaren versus McLaren now. They're not trying to screw over Piastri at all, which I know a lot of people think they are. But I promise this is just how it works when it's two teammates versus each other. I guess because we haven't seen that for so long. Last time we saw it was Rosberg versus Hamilton, and similar stuff was happening then. So
Yeah, I'm glad we shared pretty much the same opinion. I just wanted to add that Piastri, he was trying to undercut Leclerc with his first stop, which was way earlier than Lando's first stop. That fight, like the fight at the start, because Lando obviously screwed up the start, as he sometimes does. Piastri was in the fight with Leclerc for the race win. He tried to undercut, didn't work, and then him and Charles were on the same strategy, pretty much trying to undercut each other, whatever. But Lando was behind George. He had to think of something, and they ended up with the one stop, which, like, at the start of the weekend, everyone was thinking two stop will be the quicker one. Like, one stop will be very difficult to manage, essentially. And I would say, like, in hindsight, both strategies were viable. Like, you can make the argument for both. I feel like Lando did a very good job on his tires, and I mean, Oscar did what he could, but track position is king here, and since Lando was ahead, like, he would need to be like on like at least 20 laps older tires, Lando, than Oscar, like even more than the tire that Delta was, in order for there to be an overtake, because Piastri just didn't have the tires at that point to have such an advantage to pull close up and use the DRS, because the last corner, like you said, there was so much dirty air. There was always like 7/10 the gap was at the start of the DRS, and that's pretty much game over. Like, that desperate move from Piastri, which almost ended up in a George Russell win, which would be very funny. But yeah, it really looked like Piastri gave it his all, because he knew he didn't have much else to do. In this case, like, his teammate was ahead thanks to the one stop, and he didn't have such a tire delta. And obviously, it's the same car with very minor differences in the setup, so it's not going to be like much quicker in straights or anything. So yeah, good strategy from McLaren. They're, like you said, they're fighting each other. Piastri, like, in the middle of the race, really wanted to focus on Lando, since he knew he was going one stop. He wanted to have the best chance. Since Piastri pitted so early, it was very risky to go for a one stop from that point, so we opted for another pit stop, and tried to get Lando on the track. Ultimately, in the end, wasn't the right call, but that's somehow how racing is. And when there's other cars in the mix as well, just like Charles was there up until his damage, George was also there. I mean, you cannot say he wasn't. He finished 20 seconds behind Norris in the end. Despite having one more stop than Lando. So still, like, there are other cars in the fight, and when these opportunities present themselves, then you have to take them. And Lando did a good job. I mean, not the greatest start, out-qualified by the teammate, but ended up winning the race, and points are given on Sunday. So that's the important thing, and it's on a very good momentum going to the summer break. So we'll see how the title fight unfolds.
6 points.
Yeah, very close between them. Probably the most exciting thing about this season so far.
I'm interested.
Well, obviously, there's a whole coming podium.
I'm interested to know what the points would have been if we still had the fast lap rule. That would be interesting to know. Would they have been equal? Would it be more spread out? Who knows?
I feel like
that would have been interesting to see.
I feel like the drivers would fight for the fastest lap. Cannot give them the fastest lap points based on these results, because they didn't try for the fastest lap.
Exactly. I also think the fastest lap rule is dumb. I just, it would be interesting to see.
I mean, I would understand points for pole position, but not for fastest lap. Like, And if it forced for fastest lap, give it to any driver, not just a top 10 driver, because that makes no sense. It's always going to be the leader or someone with half a minute gap between behind them. Like give it to give the opportunity to every driver. Imagine like 19 drivers going for the pit stop on the last lap or something. Yeah, that would be crazy, but we're here for the crazy takes sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like we covered the McLaren thing, the Ferrari thing, Red Bull. Obviously, we've talked about their issues.
Should we? I mentioned it previously, and obviously we want to end because we're going off. I just want to mention again the move Max Verstappen did on Hamilton, absolutely insane. Hamilton legitimately decided to save his own life rather than be a part of that move.
Yeah, I mean that was like, look, if Lewis wouldn't go off track, wouldn't try to avoid the collision, they would have crashed. And by crash, I mean Lewis in the wall, Max at best with a front wing damage, like at worst probably with a puncture or even a broken suspension. Like that would be such a big hit. Lewis spinning off into the wall at that point, but since Lewis saw him, he essentially just backed off and let Max through, because he's not risking his race over some not in the greatest mood Max Verstappen, considering the car was given that weekend. I mean, you cannot penalize it because nothing happened really, and if Lewis wouldn't have backed off, he would have completely destroyed his Ferrari, and Max would have gotten a penalty, but it wouldn't change anything. Like it would lose more from it because he didn't get any points either. Max wasn't in his fight for Lewis wasn't in the fight for P9 anyway, and
it didn't matter. So
Lewis exactly. He just
preserved his life.
He just avoided crash damage, and that's exactly what happened. Like there's nothing really much else to say about it.
I'd also like to say Max did a lot of amazing overtakes that race.
Yeah,
so
exactly, like the middle sector before the very slow chicane. He did a lot of moves there, but also the drivers had to be very respectful of Max Verstappen being behind them, because like if a driver like Lance Stroll, for example, he's not really checking his mirrors, especially in such twisty sector. Could have been ended badly, but luckily he was always given space and could make the overtake as well. On the track, it's very difficult to overtake on. Anyways, actual prediction, there are no points there. Abdelli did not win the race, and Sauber's only one of them was in the points. Well, it was in the top 7, as mentioned. So, can wrap it up. Any last thoughts?
No last thoughts. Exciting because I believe we're now back to equal points. Are we not?
No. Actually, no. Sorry. Let me count them. 39 to 39. You're correct.
Equal points. The mid-season. We're basically like Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri at this point. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, who's the one who's more likely to crumble under pressure?
Based on the last few seasons, me.
I mean, you had the early
lead. Sure,
right?
I've been in the lead every time, going into like the final 5 races, and you've somehow pulled it out.
To be fair, I was in the lead after the last race, and now we're equal again. So maybe exactly a tight one like 2021, for example, or maybe some crashes here or there. We will settle it down on some video game or whatever. Okay, we'll see you in the next video, which probably would be some of our ideas that will come through. We obviously want to have a video during summer break, another one, at least one, before the Dutch Grand Prix. So make sure to tune up for that, and you're gonna take the wheel now.
Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment on any ideas you want to see us do in this break. And as always, peace.